Meg Meeker, it is so good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Oh, it's wonderful to see you too, Christy. I miss seeing you in person.
I know.
COVID stuff, yeah.
I know. We used to be on the road together all the time, but at least we have this outlet to be able to hang out and talk. You know, we were talking, Meg, about planning our content for the fall for the Christy Wright Show, and we were talking about you because you are someone that, to me, is not just a source of a wealth of wisdom, but you have such practical tips, especially for parents, and being a mom of 3 kids, age 6 and under. This is something I was just telling you before we even started recording. I learn from you all the time. And so I'm so excited to dive in today to talk about some of the things that we struggle with as parents. And I know that all of my listeners are not parents. And so for those that are not, I totally get that this may not apply to them. But for those that are, and it is a high percentage, parenting is so consuming, especially when you have especially when you have little kids. And so I want to dive into this because as I was thinking about this episode, there was one particular aspect of parenting that I think is really hard. You and I have talked about it before. We talked about it when you were on the Business Boutique podcast. You and I have talked about it when we're at Sound Checks for Smart Conference. It's this idea that parents, but especially moms, man, even if we don't mean to, we tend to make our children the center of the universe. What is going on in us that makes this happen? Let's just start there.
Well, first of all, I love this topic, and a lot of show hosts don't want to talk about it. So I'm glad.
I like talking about the hard stuff specifically.
I love the hard stuff too. Here's how it came about, and the fun thing is, I've been alive long enough to see it. You know, when women decided that we were going to charge forth and we wanted a career in our families, it was great. We did that. And then we started to reflect on our own upbringing. We felt our parents were never there for us. We wanted to be different. So we were going to show up for all of our kids, everything. So we did that. Then we felt, well, we can't stop there. We've got to be better than that, particularly mothers. We wanted to be excellent in our careers, but we wanted to be excellent as mothers. And what that morphed into was the sense that in order to be excellent, we needed to attend to our kids' needs, their wants, their desires, everything about them. So our focus shifted from what we felt we needed to do to be better at our work and better at mothers to just sort of hyper-focus on our children to make sure we didn't make mistakes. We didn't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
Right? If our kid was going to be an Olympic swimmer and we as mothers didn't figure that out by the time they're 5, we blew it.
Yeah.
Right? So we need to feed them the right things. We need to get them in the right activities. We need to get them in the right schools. We need to make sure their speech is great. We need to make sure they're reading by, 4. You get it. And so we put in this tremendous amount of energy because we believe that we could really we could craft this kid into the perfect person. And that would make us feel like perfect moms. And so I'm not throwing darts at mothers. I get this. I totally get it because I'm a grandmother now. But that's what launched this kid into the center of the family and gave us that sense that we need to give up us.
Yeah.
Right. We need to sacrifice all to make sure this child had everything possible. And that has caused tremendous disruption and pain in marriages. It's horrible for kids. This really all started in the 70s with feminism, and I was charging. But that's how it all came about. In order to be super moms, the super moms to our kids, we couldn't miss a thing.
Yeah.
And that's why we had to hyper-focus.
Well, and there's such pressure in that message. Like it's a suffocating kind of pressure. I saw something on Instagram years ago, and it has always stuck with me because it's so true. It says, we expect women to work like they don't have children and raise children like they don't work, especially for those moms that work outside the home. So many women are walking around, Meg, and I see it every day, and I definitely struggle with this myself, but I see this. They are weighed down. They are weighed down by guilt. They are weighed down by this false narrative that they're failing. So it feels like this shadow that haunts us, that we're not enough. And what kills me about this, Meg, aside from the fact that it's exhausting to pursue, exhausting to pursue that moving target, the finish line that always moves. But it's completely robbing us of enjoying right now, of enjoying you pick up takeout on the way home, your kids are in their pajamas when you go to Walmart the next day. Like the imperfection and the messiness and the reality of life, we're missing it. And so I want to hear your perspective, especially not only from your work and your life's work of knowing this from a psychology perspective, but you've been a mom and a grandmother as well. So talk a little bit about the effect this is having on us.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we're driven towards what we define perfectionism, not just in our work, but in motherhood. Okay. So we each define it a little bit differently. And what that does means we need to drive and watch and make sure. There's a tremendous amount of peer pressure on mothers. We are horrible to one another. Horrible. Okay. We compare ourselves constantly. Have you lost the last 10 pounds of baby fat? Where are you working? How much are you working? What kind of daycare? And it's horrible for us, but I want to sort of walk into a child's perspective here. Okay. So a child looks to mom, and make no mistake, this child picks up on that and it makes him or her anxious. Okay. Why is mom worrying? Why is mom doing this? Why is mom giving me, sandwiches that are cut into 10 pieces when I can eat the whole thing whole? Okay. It makes a child scared. It makes a child feel like I'm the reason my mom is acting like this. I'm the reason that my mom is so stressed out all the time. Imagine if that were you. It gives kids a sense that they have a power they don't want. Okay. When they see mom jumping all around them to make sure they never miss a soccer game, they never give them peanuts, so he's going to have a piece. It's terrifying for a kid, even for a 15-year-old. And so when we're in that drive mode to be the perfect mom, we have to realize our kids hate it. Let me give you a fun example, Christy. Women are all about their weight. Okay. We gotta be going to the gym. We gotta be on this diet. We gotta be doing that. Okay. I was talking to a 5-year-old in my practice, and he was talking about his grandmother. As a grandmother, this warms my heart. He said, I love being with my grandmother. And I said, what do you like so much about being with your grandmother? He said, I love to hug her. And I thought, well, that's nice. Doesn't your mom hug her? Why do you like to hug your grandma? Because she's so squishy. From a kid's perspective, he didn't want to hug a bony mom.
You know what, Meg? It's so funny you say that. I dropped my kids off at the Y. This was years ago. My husband and I had gone to the Y, and this woman takes my baby into childcare, and she's a bigger woman. She's a heavier set woman, and she goes, "Oh, girl, those babies love me." She goes, "All these women around here are box springs. I got a plush mattress." I was like, I love that so much.
And and this is where I would encourage mom to try to look at life from your kid's perspective.
Which is so hard, Meg. Like, that's so hard for us to do.
But you can train yourself to do it, okay? Because if you see your child as the center of your world, as the cause of your freneticism and angst, and to realize he or she hates it, then you can start to identify, okay, today, where am I really going nuts? What's really driving me to crazy? Okay, I want to stop at McDonald's on the way home, but I can't because then I'm a bad mom. So I better go home and prepare, this gluten-free, all this wonderful food and sit down with my child and eat. If you were a kid, would you rather get a kid's meal in the drive-thru, go home, throw a blanket in the backyard and sit down and eat that with your mom and chat? Or would you rather your mom go home and freak out about her great food?
Right.
Kids don't care what food we give them. Kids don't care what weight we are. They don't care.
Yeah.
Kids don't care if we have a bigger house. As a matter of fact, kids like smaller houses because they're closer to each other.
Wow.
And so everything we strive to do to be perfect moms, to measure up to our friends, to make sure we don't miss anything, is our kids pick up on that, and it makes them feel crazy.
Yeah.
So if you really want a relaxed kid, relax, let go of that, and then give yourself some time to go out with your husband once a week. It shows your kid, wow, if you want your child to feel secure, really secure, let him see mom and dad leaving him and going off and having fun, because when you're having fun, your kid doesn't worry.
Yes, that's so okay. That right there is so powerful, because Meg, I have seen it even in our family when Matt and I go on a date, and we do it not every week for sure, but at least once a month probably we go on a date.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do, even though we've done this really regularly, our kids are always like, "Where are you going? Well, what are you doing? Well, why? Well, I don't understand." And we explain, like, mommy and dad are going to date. We're gonna have time just as we explain it, and you can tell they're kind of like intrigued and mystified and amazed. And then another thing I see in our household, when Matt and I will flirt or mess with me, like he'll like tickle me or we're just being silly, they see it and their faces light up. They delight in seeing their mom and dad play and wrestle and tickle, and then they come try to get in on it. We can't hug, and they're not trying to get in on what we're doing. And so I even see that sense of delight and security, like you're saying. And I think that we miss the benefits of that because we're so busy just trying to do all the things. But you said something in a second ago I want to circle back to, when you were talking about our anxiety. And you said, when we're anxious, trying to do all the things, be perfect, rush around, have all the perfect meal, et cetera, our kids feel that and they don't want that pressure. Is our anxiety creating anxiety in them? Because I've heard some stuff about that of like, they become anxious because we're anxious, because the message is almost, I would guess, I'm not a psychologist, but I would guess the message is, well, if mom and dad are scared or mom's scared, if mom's nervous about something, then we must have something we need to be nervous about. Where it's this implicit message that there is something to fear, there is something to stress, and we can't hide it. We think we can hide it as moms. Like, oh, we'll just put on our happy face and get a high-pitched voice going and we're going to be good. No, they know. They pick up on it.
Know. Well, and here's another thing. Not only, first of all, you're absolutely right. And a lot of the anxiety, the rise in anxiety that I'm seeing in my office and that pediatricians across the country are seeing, the rise in anxiety in kids is because there's a rise in anxiety in parents. Okay, but here's one thing we can't forget. When we're anxious, our kids wear that anxiety, but there's more. Because kids developmentally are very self-centered, they feel, and it's not right, but they feel they're the cause of a lot of that anxiety. Okay. And that's why when you have divorced parents, parents can tell their kids as much as they want. You didn't do it. You didn't do it. It doesn't matter. Yep. Developmentally, until that child is much older and his thinking is more developed, kids take that on. I caused mom and dad to be this way. I caused mom and dad. Kids worry about their parents. So when your kids, Christy, see you go off for a fun evening, they go, oh, good, I don't have to worry about them tonight.
Wow.
You see, that's what they're feeling. Right. Oh, good, mom and dad are okay. So now I can just think about the game I want to play. If mom and dad are anxious, they can't think about being 5 or 6 or 8 or 10. Yeah. They are so tuned into your anxiety because they feel that they directly have something to do with it because you pay so much attention to them and want to make sure that they're okay and are anxious doing that. You get in this terrible vicious cycle. So the best thing that mothers can do for ourselves, and I've trained myself to do this, honestly, so you can do it, make a list of all the things that are driving you crazy as a mom. Okay, worrying about this and worrying about that. And just say to yourself, I'm going to worry about that tomorrow. But for today, I'm going to let it go. I don't care what my kids eat today. Tomorrow, I can feed them organic. But for today, I'm not going to. Sure. And eventually, you start to let that stuff go. Your anxiety goes, and guess what happens? Your kids are more relaxed. When you're striving for perfectionism in the home or at work, there's no relaxation for anyone. No. And the worst pain it causes is on your kids because it gives them that sense of power over mom they can't deal with.
Yeah. And, it's interesting because I think that when we begin to look at this from a different perspective, it it convicts us in a good way to want to change, to not to want to continue that. And I've realized that me as a mom, when I focus on the wrong thing, whether that is obsessing about everyone being monogrammed smock shirts for church with your shirt tucked in, or everybody eating the right meal, or whatever the thing is, I actually become someone that I don't like.
Exactly.
I actually turn into a woman I don't want to be, a mother I don't want to be. But I chase these things, sometimes unconsciously, Meg. And I think, there's a scene from the show Little Fires Everywhere where Reese Witherspoon does this. She screams at her family in front of the tree. And in that moment, I saw myself in her and I thought, I don't want to be anything like that. So help us identify when we're doing that. When are we, whether it's chasing perfectionism or chasing Instagram's version of motherhood success or whatever, how can we check ourselves? Because sometimes I think we don't mean to. It's very unconscious. How can we check ourselves and go, whoa, shirt being tucked in, photo in front of the tree, these things are not important. What is important is getting to church. What is important is having a good Christmas. How can we catch ourselves before we go down that path?
Yeah. Well, there's a 3-letter word that mothers need to learn to use every single day, and that is why.
Okay.
If I were in your home and you had all your striped pajamas on in front of the Christmas tree, scream at your kids to sit down and go, Christy, come here, sit down. Why are you doing this? Well, everybody needs to know that we have a happy family. My kids have to be happy. And
be happy, dang it.
And they have a picture to look at. Seriously?
Why?
Throw the camera away.
Right.
Have fun. Go outside. Well, in Nashville, you don't have snow. Go outside in your pajamas and have a snowball fight. Do something ridiculous, And so whenever you find yourself doing something that is on the verge of making you a crazy woman, done that, stop.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why do I have to get home in time to have, this perfect meal? And why do my kids have to start their homework at 9 on the dot or whatever? And once we really dig down and we're honest with ourselves, then we can start peeling off all of that junk, and it's all junk.
Yeah.
Think about this. When your kids are 25 and they're looking back on their lives with you, okay, what are they going to remember? Are they going to remember the pajamas? No.
Right.
They're going to remember the wonderful conversations you had, how you made them feel at certain moments, and how you hurt them at certain moments. That's what kids do. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. They're not going to think about the meals or the clothes.
Right.
That's your deal.
That's right. It's all about us. It's all about us. All the things we obsess over are about us, to show that we're a good mom, to feel like a good mom, to make other people think that we're a good mom. And I just think that reminder is so powerful because it changes how we approach not just holidays and photos, it changes how we approach everything. When you said there's a 3-letter word moms need to start using, the word I thought you were going to say is yes. Because for me, my default is often no. No, don't hit your brother. I mean, and it's just survival at this point. With 3 little kids, it is a lot of no's. No, you can't have cupcakes for breakfast. No, you just can't. No. And so we have to say no so often. So I've tried to find opportunities to say yes. But it's in light of what you said a minute ago. See the world through your kids' eyes. So when my son says, hey, can we get Chick-fil-A and go sit in the backyard, instead of no, because that requires thinking and different and a change of plans and change of how I envision this night, go, oh, can we do that? Yeah. Like when you can say yes, say yes. Whether that is, I was thinking kids are so creative, and thankfully I'm creative. So I that part of my brain just totally connects there. But the silly things we do are the things they love the most and remember the most. When we had all these boxes from something, when we got new plates, we built a fort out of boxes. Like that's the kind of stuff they love, not the monogrammed dress, outfits for Easter or whatever. And so I love that reminder that when we can see the world through our kids' eyes, when we can ask why we're doing these things that are stressing us and our kids out, to stop doing them, but then find opportunities to say yes to the things that they're asking for, that are fun, that are absolutely easy to do, to see the world through their eyes. I think that that's going to set us free to have more fun and be the people we want to be. And
you know how great a kid would feel if life at home was fun? Now, it isn't a lot because life is stressful at home. It is what it is. I'll never forget a time. And see, this is what I'm talking about. Our kids are older now and they remember moments that my husband and I had with them. Moments, not years or months. And one night we had the northern lights out and they come out about 1 a.m. And unbeknownst to me, my husband woke all the kids up in their pajamas. It's cold. It's January. And they sat on the front steps, no blankets, no coats, nothing, and looked up at the northern lights. When I found out about it, I almost freaked out. Are you kidding? These have to go to school in the morning. Why are you doing? And you know what? It was such a treasure to our kids.
Yeah.
And those are the things we need to do. You know, it is to just stop in the middle of the day, stop everything and go, guys, let's go for a swim or let's go for a bike ride or let's, when they're miserable and everything. And that's what they remember. So when you're doing something that is frustrating the heck out of you, you say, why am I doing this? Okay.
Why
and it's not going to be about you. And then, unpack that and then say, okay, I know that doing this is driving my kids crazy. So I'm just gonna let it go and have some fun. Clean houses. I mean, who wants their friends to come over when your house is a mess? I invited all of my friends, whenever you're around, just walk into my house because it gives me the perfect excuse to have my house a mess because I didn't know they were coming. Yeah. Right. And so that kind of pressure, just let it go. Have the guts to be who you are in front of your friends and family. I don't send Christmas cards. It still makes me feel guilty because my friends feel like I'm antisocial. You know what? It puts too much stress on me. Yeah. I don't make, 10 different types of Christmas cookies. No. I make 2. Yeah. And I don't have a perfect tree. And if everything isn't done by the time the kids get here with their grandkids, oh, well, they don't see it anyway, and they don't want it. And they don't want to be around a miserable, obnoxious, anxious mother who's paying more attention to the stuff around them and trying to get it perfect than them.
That is so powerful.
So rather than open the door to them and go, I am so glad to see you, and have a messy house. That's what they want. They don't want you to open the door and all the Christmas lights are where they're supposed to be, but I'm kind of tense. Yeah. What do they want? They want a relaxed, fun mom who's happy.
They want a relaxed, fun mom who's happy. That is so powerful, Megan. You're so right because you think about it, you're like, what they really crave is your attention. What they really crave is your presence and your joy. And all this crap just gets in the way of us being able to do that. So thank you for that. That is so insightful and such a good reminder for me in the trenches with these little kids. Okay, you are so passionate about helping moms, helping dads, helping parents with their kids, and you have this new community, Parenting Great Kids community. Tell us about that and how people can find out more information about everything you're working on. I know you've got courses, you've got training for them, you've got discussion questions, all that. So tell them how they can connect with you and learn more about that.
Well, really going to my website, Meg Meeker MD, or Meeker Parenting. Actually, that's the best, meekerparenting.com. I'll tell you why I created the community, Christy, because you know this. When you write books, you put the books out there. Sometimes you get a letter, you get reviews, but there's this distance. And I wanted to be able to be closer to the people that I'm trying to help. And so I create a community where people can join, and I answer their questions. I come on video. We chat. Parents follow up. I say, try this. A month or 2 later, they follow up. Well, this is working. This isn't working. Just to know that somebody's in there who has your back. Yeah. And my job is to have people's back. And I always tell patients in my office who say, oh, my kid has a brain tumor. My kid has cystic fibrosis. I said, look, my job is to figure all that out. If your kid has a brain tumor, it's my job to find that and worry about it, not yours. So take it off your shoulders. Yeah. And my Parenting Great Kids community is an attempt to take the fear off parents' shoulders and let me participate in guiding where their kids are going. Yeah. Because I really believe, Christy, if I can help parents be happy, kids are fine. Yeah. So your parents say, talk to my kids, do this, treat them for anxiety. And I'll say, okay, kid, leave the room. Let's just talk.
Yeah.
You know, why are you so worried? You
Yeah.
know, I've been in your shoes. I've yelled at my kids. I've spanked my kids when I didn't mean to. I get it.
Yeah.
And so, but I have learned through the years to just sort of put all that stuff aside and go do crazy stuff with my grandkids, because those are the memories that they're going to remember. So Parenting Great Kids Community, just go to meekerparenting.com website.
I love it. Well, it's going to be such a great resource for people, because I'll tell you, especially, I know I'm in the season of littles, but we need all the help we can get, because it is a very hard and exhausting job. So Meg, you're amazing. You are just so kind, and you just encourage people, but you also call them to action. And I love that about you. And I know there are such great tangible takeaways that people are listening to going, oh, I can make that one small change today. Ask myself why when I'm getting worked up. Things like that actually have a huge domino effect in our marriages, in our families, and in our lives overall. So thank you for being here. Thanks for your time and for hanging out with us.
You bet. Thanks, Christy.